Hey, happy summer solstice. You know, I ain't got nobody here with me yet. I'll chill for a moment. I'm chilling in the car, baby's napping. So it's the perfect time to go live, baby. You know what I'm saying? She don't be messing with the live. That's why I had to my videos recorded. But she sleeps so I can live. Nobody's here with me, but I got something to get off my chest for the summer solstice, baby. Happy summer solstice, everyone who looks at this recording, who plays it back. Happy summer solstice for the people that may be coming in. Summer solstice, the first day of summer, but more spiritually and energetically, the first day to really tap into your innate shine, your innate sense of identity, your innate sense of joy based off of who you are deep down in your spirit, right? Deep down first in your soul and even further down to the spirit. So this summer is a perfect time to tap into what innately lights you up. And that actually meshes well with something that I've been wanting to talk to you all about in regards to your expression. Like, because when it comes to expression, people really take that really lightly when it comes to expressing in whatever way that you may express. We might express in subtle ways that it's like, and how we use our words and how we talk, or in more grander ways in, using it in a creative way, like maybe singing or performing and different things like that. Those are more grander ways of expressing. But really, expression is a thing that we all have to take a hold of as important when it comes to our development, when it comes to our healing, when it comes to our journey, and when it comes to maintaining life. Because if you're not expressing, that means you got some stagnancy within you. Because if you're not expressing, ultimately it's like you're not releasing, right? We got all in the spiritual community, we have all of these, you know, advanced ways of releasing, or all of these jargon terms for releasing, energy, right? Whether it be us doing yoga, or whether it be us using and transmuting the energy to get it up out of us. But really, when it comes down to it, all that is expressing what has been within you, expressing the things that dwells within you, that comes up into the surface within you. It is expressing, right? And that's why I'm into the work that I do. I always naturally have been a person that I naturally express. I naturally was a big expressing person since I was a little girl. I always talked a lot. I got a Gemini rising, and I got Gemini in a lot of my, chart as well. So yeah, I always talked a lot. I always used my voice. Further than talking, I use my voice for singing. I was always into, singing and acting and, musical theater and things like that. And then as I got older, I started doing more writing. But I actually always liked writing when I was in school as well. So I was always naturally into the expressive arts, if you will. So that was just always naturally a part of me. And I got some notes because, I kind of get off on a tangent sometimes. But yeah, so when it comes to my expressing, that's always been like a natural part of me. So I never knew it to be this huge thing when it comes to expressing. It was just a part of who I was. It was just a part of my personality, right? But after a while, there were big chunks of time where I would not prioritize expressing, where I would not act, or where I would not necessarily write, or where I would not, prioritize doing those things that I innately expressed in, that I resonated with to express in, right? So it was, I feel like after a while I kind of reached a cap almost of expressing. And so because of that, I naturally didn't really prioritize it anymore, right? So to the point where it's like, once I got to that cap, I just, it wasn't a big deal for me. And then even in that, because my tools for expressing that I naturally resonated with were some of those larger scale type of expressing, like singing and acting, I correlated it with the worldly expectation of singing and acting, right? I correlated it with that. And so I felt like, okay, well, if I'm not trying to be a professional actor, then I don't need to act. Or if I'm not trying to be a professional singer, then why am I singing? And now, of course, there was a time where I was into professional acting and I went on to casting professionally. So, but even when I was casting professionally, I wasn't really acting anymore, right? So that took away my priority of expressing in my naturally resonant ways to express, right? So it just, it didn't become a priority for me anymore to express because of how I associated it with the industry, right? So I didn't see it as a priority anymore. Not realizing how important expressing was, because after a while, when I didn't express, I would start to be down. I would start to become depressed and I would be down on myself, and I didn't understand why. This was before I had become, or gotten into like my awakening journey, right? And so I had started to become down and experience these big periods of being down. And the only thing that would start building me back up and helping me feel better is when I use those tools of expression. So I literally had like big moments of depression, and I utilized my drama, and I utilized my singing, and I utilized my writing abilities to pull myself back up out of that depression. And so much so, that is how I got into the work of art therapy, life coaching, because I wanted to utilize my art, the things that I did for creativity and performance, for others as well, because I knew how much of a tool it was to pull myself back up. So that was how one of the reasons I even got into this work, and helping coach actors from a mindfulness standpoint. Once I came into like this awakening journey and things like that, and I started correlating the two and combining them and understanding that, okay, like, I need expression. Expression makes me feel better. And I thought it was just a me thing, right? At first I thought it was just a me thing. And then I thought it was just, a performer thing. Like, okay, well, these other actors and these other performers or these other singers could benefit from this too. But I understand it's way more than that. And so, so within that, there would be periods of time where I would gravitate from my expression, gravitate from my expression tools. And I would, again, get down and have to dig back into my expression and build myself back up with it, right? So I have frequently experienced those periods of not prioritizing my expression. And then going back into that cycle of building myself up with expression, right? So, fast forward or whatever to pretty much present day. So for the past few months, I've been doing a lot of inner child healing work. A lot of inner child healing work. Specifically within these past few months, when it comes to my masculine energy, but further than that, specifically when it comes to my father. We just passed Father's Day, and I actually felt Father's Day was tough for me for a couple of reasons, but it was like a bittersweet tough, because it was tough for me in a sense of, what I'm dealing with my child's father, but it was triumphant for me because of the healing that I had come into when it comes to my father. And I need to shout out D. Ray Wise on this video for this, because she just did she's been doing videos in regards to, the father wound and stuff like that. And it's so crazy. It's like we in sync or something, because around that time she started doing the videos, that's when I had become naturally kind of in this putting two and two together of my dad and this sense of expression. So shout out to her, kind of helping me put that, finish up that healing and put that two and two together. D. Ray Wise. So when it comes to my dad, right, going through this healing of my dad, I realized that my dad, he is, first of all, his sun sign is Gemini. So he's definitely a very expressive Gemini, but he has a lot of wounds. So a lot of his expression comes from the aggressive standpoint. Like sometimes even when he might be feeling higher emotions, he'll come off aggressive, like really aggressive, as if he's trying to argue with you. And it's like, but you're joking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I, since a child, like I've always been a very, sensitive child. And so since a child, I've always been kind of really scared of that when it comes to him. And my dad and my mom are still together. So my dad has always been around. But I've always been a little scared of him because of that, because he gets like really loud. Now, he's never like beat me, hit me, or anything like that. I'm just talking about, like, he ain't had to hit me. All he had to do was fuss. Like, and he didn't, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like that. But he was very aggressive in his tone and how he would talk and how he would express. And I always, as a child, was lightweight scared of it. And then as I came into adulthood, I lightweight, like, was repulsed by it, actually. Like, I lightweight was repulsed by it and was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you gotta talk to people like that? Like, it ain't even that serious. Why you gotta yell at them like that? Why you gotta, you know what I mean? So in a sense, I rejected that aspect of him, that aspect of his expression, because I felt like it was too goddamn aggressive. Like, why? Like, and so up until I was feeling like this, even up until like a couple months ago, like and then up until like a couple of months ago, my disdain for it, like up until like 3 months ago, probably not even that long, probably 2 months. Up until then, like my disdain for his sense of self-expression just started to become like more and more worse. Like, I was just so annoyed by it. I couldn't take it. And probably because like I have a child now. And so, You know what I'm saying? I'm noticing it more, and I'm also trying to put boundaries around it when it comes to her. So that could be why my disdain for it became more. But my disdain for how he was or how he expressed just really became more and more. And I just kind of started feeling like more disdain and rage for him. And I did a video, that one of my, longer videos on here on YouTube about letting the rage in, because, you know, there was times where I wouldn't even let rage in because I felt like that wasn't me, or I was holding a sense of expectation around me or whatever. So now that I had, gotten to this point of being okay with letting rage in, right? Then I started really feeling the areas in which I have rage towards people in, or, you know what I mean? So my father, that was one of those areas. Like, I had started having like rage towards him about how he was talking to people, or how he was treating people, or how, or whatever. And, you know, to the point where he and I actually had an argument one day because of it, because I tried to, redirect him from it, and it escalated, to where, because he wasn't having nobody shut down his expression, basically. And after that argument, I totally fucking got it. Like, of course he wasn't letting nobody shut down his expression, because that's all he has to self-express. That's how he knows how to express. He doesn't know all of these other tools, all of these advanced tools. Now my father is who I got all of my expression things from. Like my singing, that's where my voice came from my dad. My talking a lot came from my dad, right? So why would I shut down his expression when I need to be accepting of my own expression? So in turn, I'm pretty much, as I'm rejecting his expression, I am also rejecting a sense of my own expression, because he represents my expression when it comes to, how I was raised, and who or what his energy lended to me as a child. He represents the expressive part of me. And so after we had that argument, even though he still was dead wrong in the argument as far as why we got into the argument, but it was when he was saying to me, like, actually it was when I reflected on when he said that to me, because in the argument I wasn't like that. But when I reflected on him saying to me, that is how I express. That is, you know what I mean? That's just how I express myself. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, it's still not healthy in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's still not healthy to just be fussing at people. It's still not healthy to just be projecting it on people. It's still not healthy to do that. But I know that. I know that within my own sense of awareness. I already know that for myself. So I wouldn't be that person. So why am I expecting him to express in a way that I have the awareness to express? He needs to express in the way that he innately knows how to express. And he doesn't really like sing anymore, and potentially for the same reasons that I have stopped, singing in the past. He didn't see it. He didn't see it valuable. He didn't see it pertinent in his, survival, right? He wasn't a famous singer. Why does he need to keep singing? So now, because he's not really singing anymore, all he has is, his talking, right? Now I can try to give him tools of expression, right, all day. But we still working with somebody that doesn't have my sense and level of awareness. So because of that, I gotta reject him. I gotta reject his expression. No. And that's what made me realize, like, oh, me rejecting that aspect of his expression since I was a child, that's why I had spurts of rejecting my own sense of expression. That's why. That's why I downplay and pushed away my expression every so often. Because internally, I was rejecting the expression in which I saw as a representation, the representation of expression that I saw. And so in turn, I was rejecting my own sense of expression, and I was blocking my own sense of expression. So like, I'm telling you, shout out to D-Ray for real, because she helped me. Like I had started feeling this before I saw her video, and I was like, man, him saying that to me, him saying like that's how I express, it really spoke to me, and it made me just open up a little bit more. And then D-Ray made that video, like, you know, something about you, you know, you rejecting, you know, your father or your mother, and that means you're rejecting an aspect of you. And it just kind of, she helped me like put the pieces together of that healing that I was doing, that inner child healing that I was doing when it came to my dad. So, you know, that is like, was big to me. You know, that was big to me, realizing that, man, he represents my expression. If it wasn't for him, I may not even have these ways of expression. If it wasn't for him, maybe I wouldn't even know this innate way to express and to get things up off of me. I just sing when I need to get things up off my chest, and I feel something tight on my chest and heavy on my chest. Sometimes I just sing, right? When I need to get things off my chest, I write, right? He represents the expressive side of me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be that expressive Bonnie, you know? So that, you know, that was amazing to me to understand that blockage within my expression. First, to understand that, you know, I wasn't letting rage in because of the expectation, and, you know, and even more in that, when it, as it pertains to this rage, when it comes even to my sense of expressing, I did always look at expressing being pretty, being rainbows, being expressing into a project, or of course a performance, you know, acting, singing, of course on this grander, you know, higher, you know, brighter scale. That is how I looked at expressing. But expressing is more than that. Expressing gets ugly. Expressing does get ugly. But you know what? You gotta get that shit up out of you. I don't agree expressing on people, and that's the unhealthy aspect when it comes to my dad. He doesn't just like take out what he's dealing with internally on people. But if you're having a conversation, if we're having a conversation together, he's going to express aggressively. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, so expressing looks ugly sometimes. Expressing gets ugly sometimes. It can get aggressive. You know, it can. And so I ask you, are you blocked in your sense of expression because you have expectations on it? Or you may be blocked in your sense of expression because you aren't dealing in the things that naturally resonate with you, or you're not expressing in the ways that naturally resonate with your being. right? Or you may be blocking your expression, like what I said, because you're putting it on this grander scale again of expectations. You just kind of need to bring it back down a little bit to the mundane of just you getting it out, expressing yourself, expressing what's on your heart, but doing it healthily. And so that's where I come in at. That's where my sense of higher awareness, as I compare myself to my dad, that's where my higher sense of self-awareness comes in at of I don't have to express on people. I have healthy tools and tactics and exercises to express. But nonetheless, I need to express. I don't have to express on people. I don't have to utilize people within that expression, because that's potentially dumping, right? But I have that higher sense of awareness and practice and experience to tap into healthier aspects of self-expression. Okay. I just want to make sure I ain't forget nothing. So yeah, that's really all I had to say. Like, I want you to ask yourself that. Where am I blocking myself from expressing myself? Who am I judging about their sense of expression? And I promise you, whoever you're judging and why you're judging it, you need to go into that, because that is where you're also judging and rejecting yourself. Okay. So this is why I am, I'm going further into this work that I do when it comes to, holistic expressive tools to manage our emotions, right? And so I am revamping my readings, my emotional energy readings, and I'm adding an expressive assessment to it to assist you in matching up with the right expressive tool that fits your innate being, that fits you, right? And helping you tap into the right tool that correlates with what you're trying to express, how you naturally express, and how often you like to express. Something that can be go-to tools to help you release and get that nasty excess or reoccurring emotional energy up off you. Okay? So I would love for you to visit my page, artisticalignment.com, and book a reading. I'm also doing personal expression workshops. What personal expression workshops are, I do my emotional energy workshops at a city near you. Right now, we're in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm doing my last workshop on Saturday, the 24th, at the Well Collective. So if you are in Richmond, Virginia, I would love for you to come out this Saturday at the Well Collective at 1 p.m. But I do my workshops at a city near you. But I also have the option in which you can book your own workshop, whether it's personal or with a group of friends. And I customize it to what you all are looking for. And I make them fun. So we got like themes like high vibe karaoke. We even got mommy and me themes. We got all type of themes that can we can customize to you to assist you in managing your emotional energy, but bringing in those fun, expressive arts and making that shit fun and light, because healing doesn't have to be so goddamn heavy all the time. Okay? So if you are looking to tap better into your sense of expression and create expressive habits, I definitely will urge you to book an emotional energy alignment reading. I've already put the expression assessment within there. Or you can book a personal expression workshop for you or a group of your friends. Okay? Visit www.artisticalignment.com. And again, happy summer solstice. Tap into your innate light. One of the ways by tapping into your innate light is tapping into that expression, okay? All right, y'all. Remember to see your sensitivities as power.